Hello, I'm Luis Diego Carranza, and you're listening to an Advent journey following the path of Guadalupe and Saint Juan Diego. We are in the first week of preparation for Christmas, reflecting on the first apparition of the Virgin of Guadalupe. Today is day 4, when we continue to listen to Saint Mary's first encounter with Juan Diego. Now, something to keep in mind about the Aztec culture and background is such a naturalistic worldview had a very strong influence on words. The word was important. Just like in other ancient societies, word was kind of like something that creates. So whenever you hear about words, the breath, the venerable words or venerable breath, it's something that it taps into the Aztec mindset. And it's not just like a cultural reference. I think as for us as Christians, the word is still very important, right? And it's something where we should also reflect on, right? The importance of words, the importance of how breath speaks into life. So with that in mind, let's listen to this day's segment from the Nican Mopoa. In her presence, he bowed low. He listened to her venerable breath, to her venerable words, so gentle, so noble, like one who draws from the heart, showing only love. She spoke to him. Listen, my son, my little one, Juanito, where are you going? And he replied, my lady, my queen, my little girl, I'm going to your house in Mexico Tlatelolco to follow the things of God that are given and taught to us by the images of our Lord, and by our priests. With these words, St. Mary asks Juan Diego a direct, penetrating question. Where are you going? His initial response is about a material reality. I'm going to your holy house in Mexico, Tlatelolco. Essentially, he says, I'm on my way to church. And something important to also notice is that when he says the things that are taught to us by the images of the Lord, that's the way in which the friars catechized initially. They wouldn't just speak because they wouldn't just teach verbally, right? The teachings from the catechism, because there was a strong language barrier, right? But the way in which they would catechize is through the images. So you go to these ancient churches in central Mexico, and they're filled with paintings that catechized. So the people who initially converted, they would convert through images. And that's a very important thing to keep in mind when we think about Our Lady of Guadalupe as an image, right? So anyway, we can take this question, where are you going? And use it for our own reflection in this mindset of conversion, Advent, time of conversion. Sensing how God himself is asking us today, where are you going? What direction are you giving to your life? What path have you chosen to follow? And too often, we rush toward a set of goals and activities dictated by our environment. Work hard to be successful, whatever that means. Buy, sell, or whatever the latest trend commands. We create routines and dynamics around our lives that ultimately lack real and profound meaning. But when Juan Diego is asked this question, he responds with an absolute clarity. He's going to follow the things of God. He's not hesitant or afraid to acknowledge that he is a disciple. His direction is defined by the path shown to him by the priests of the New World. He joyfully follows the way of Christ. It's precisely this clarity in following Christ that gives him a fixed and stable course in life. And he knows where he's going, right? And he knows that on this path, he cannot go wrong. What about us? What about you and me? What is your direction? Where are you going? And we're still at the very beginning of our journey, and I want to invite you to do a simple life review. What are your major goals, your deepest dreams in this life? Where are you going? And what course are you following in your life? I'd like to ask you to make a list of the 5 main goals that are currently before you and that you're actively pursuing. You can call them goals, dreams, aspirations, whatever you like. Perhaps you've done an exercise like this before, so pick it up again. These are the central ideas defining the current course of your life. And after that, I invite you to place these goals before the Lord and Saint Mary in prayer. If there are virtuous things that will bring you closer to God, great, and keep them in sight. But if you find that perhaps the things that you're following are empty, adjust your course. And maybe you can share a photo of your list on social media. And that can surely encourage others to seek a direction for their own lives, right? Our Lady of Guadalupe also has a dream for you, an ardent desire that she wants you to participate in. But that dream won't unfold before you if you yourself have no idea where you want to go in this life. That's something important that Juan Diego teaches us. Regardless of how simple the man was, he knew exactly where he was going. And that made him the perfect vessel to fulfill Our Lady of Guadalupe's mission. Thank you for joining us today on this Advent journey with Our Lady of Guadalupe. We will see you tomorrow. God bless. This podcast is brought to you by Juan Diego Network, a project by Juan Diego and Friends Incorporated, a nonprofit seeking to attract people on the internet to in-person Christian community and the sacraments. Visit JuanDiegoandFriends.com to check out our other missionary initiatives.